We have been missing one of the leading members of ISKCON to come forward, because since many of us have had many years of participation and association in and around ISKCON, so we are also very glad and grateful and looking forward to a much more intense cooperation, which could be very beneficial and useful, I pray, for all of us. So I invite you to simply say something about your vision about that.
Hare Krishna. I think I'm a little bit being put on the spot, but I guess I have to expect that. I think it was 2 years ago I was invited to come to your gathering in Berlin. And I sent apologies. I was not able to because of scheduling. Last year, same problem. But this time we got the words early enough so I could adjust the schedule so I could actually be here. It worked out to be very convenient for me. And I'm happy to be here. You asked, am I coming in an official capacity? Yeah, I think I can say official because ISKCON GBC, since about, I guess also about 2 years, has amongst its committees, one committee which is called, what do we call it? I never remember. Vaishnava Community Relations Committee. Ta-da-ta-da. And this has been a small group of senior devotees. The chairman is Guru Prasad Swami, His Holiness Guru Prasad Swami. And there's a few others. They asked me, although I'm not a member of ISKCON GBC, they asked me to be a member because I had written something which they liked. It expressed, I can't remember what I wrote, but it was something expressing concern and interest that relations amongst the Vaishnava communities should, I think we should and we can become more mature. Like Maharaj was saying, in many ways we may be very infantile. Sometimes I think ISKCON is like a big teenager. Maybe a bit older, but sort of sometimes a little impetuous, sometimes a little, but well-meaning, all the time well-meaning. And recently I was asked by the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust to write an essay which we shall see, but the idea was that this will be published on the internet. Actually, they're planning to have several articles which are taking points found in Srila Prabhupada's books, which people may find one way or another difficult to understand or to appreciate. And they have requested several ISKCON devotees to write essays on different topics. And they asked me if I wanted to write something, and if so, what would be the topic? And I said, well, because one of the things listed was the relations between Srila Prabhupada and his godbrothers, and ISKCON and Gaudiya Math, or other Vaishnava institutions. I thought, well, maybe I can write something about this. I just sent in my essay a few days ago, and I'm waiting for a response. Let's see what they all say, whether it's hopelessly useless or or there's some hope to it. I really don't know what they'll say. I'm hopeful because, well, various reasons. Anyway, in that essay, I I decided, well, you know, there are a lot of things one could say, but to keep it simple, I thought the best thing would be to concentrate on two purports of Chaitanya Charitamrita that Srila Prabhupada wrote. In one of these purports, in the, let's see if I can remember, I think it's the 8th chapter of Adi Lila. No, chapter 10, verse 8. At the end of the purport, well, the verse is a prayer by Kryshna Kaviraj in which he is offering respect to all the Vaishnavas, indicating that he is offering equal respect to all the Vaishnavas. And in the end of the purport, Srila Prabhupada, who is clearly indicating that he feels that there has been a problem at the time of his writing, namely that he mentions this situation that developed when some of his disciples started calling him Prabhupada, and then some of his godbrothers were not very happy with that. And then he goes on to say, you know, this is a way that Vaishnavas are identified, and as a way of acknowledging our success in the preaching mission. And then at the end, he says, ISKCON should be seen as one of the branches of the Chaitanya tree, because the context, the chapter Kryshna Kaviraj is describing the Chaitanya tree with all of its branches and sub-branches. And then Prabhupada is saying, you know, please, ISKCON should be recognized as a branch of the Chaitanya tree, because he was seeing, at that time, in 1974, something like that, you know, he was saying that in 1974 there was some resistance amongst, within the greater Vaishnava community to recognizing his institution. So he's just saying that like in one short sentence. And he repeats the point in one other purport. I was looking at that purport and I was thinking, well, yes, obviously Srila Prabhupada is emphasizing that he wants ISKCON to be recognized. But what I found interesting is that taking the image of a tree, which Kryshna Kaviraj uses, with its several branches, that Prabhupada does not say that ISKCON is the Chaitanya tree. He says that ISKCON is one of the branches of the Chaitanya tree. And so it seemed to me important for members of ISKCON to notice this. A simple point, and I think it's gradually being noticed, it's being recognized that yes, ISKCON is not the only branch, there are other branches. There you go. It's taking time, and this committee, which I'm a member of, is working, I would say, more slowly than it should, and truth be told, it's more inactive than it is active. The problem being that we're all in different parts of the world, and even you have internet, but you know everyone has their engagements, so it's not something that's moving forward energetically. But as you were saying, the fact that it exists is something in the right direction. The spirit amongst the devotees within this committee is to try to help educate the rest of ISKCON that we need to become more mature. We need to grow up, and we need to learn how to